And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the show. It's nice to see you all here. My name is Norbert, but most of you know me as Aeon, and joining me today is Game Master Linus, the driving force behind ERTHA, and our wonderful guest, Liam, who is the Director of Growth for Splinterlands. Liam, welcome. We are very glad to have you here. Could you please say hello and introduce yourself to our viewers?
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for having me on. Hey everyone, I'm Liam, also known as Chatter on Discord, or you'll see Chatter Splinterlands in Twitch here. I'm the director of growth over at Splinterlands. I'll tell you about the project a little bit more in a second here, but I guess a little bit of background on myself. I've been on the growth marketing side of things for the better part of a decade. I also played games professionally, starting out in the Counter-Strike scene from Source to CSGO, and then moved over to League of Legends a little bit later in my career. But kind of really cool opportunity now. Passion meets pleasure. Got to stick on the gaming side and kind of really do what I love here. So glad to be a part.
All right, wonderful. And Linus, how are you doing today? Are you excited to get the show on the road?
Oh yeah, I'm really excited and pleasure to meet Liam with this poll.
All right, so just before we start the show, I want to let everyone know the schedule of today's event. So first, we're going to jump into a discussion about Splinterlands, about ERTHA, and other various topics that might come up related to crypto and the blockchain world. It wouldn't be an overstatement to call our participants experts in this field, so I'm sure we'll all be interested in what they have to say. Then for the second part of the broadcast, we'll jump into an AMA where both Linus and Liam will be answering questions asked right here in the Twitch chat. Then finally, after the AMA, we are giving away a $150 worth ERTHA Water NFT Hex to a random viewer and 10 Chaos Legion packs from Splinterlands. So make sure to stay tuned till the very end for a chance to win a free opportunity to become a landowner in the ERTHA Metaverse and a free card owner in the Splinterlands game. So make sure to follow the stream by clicking the follow button, share the stream to your friends, and join our community at discord.gg/Ertha to talk about the event. So let's just dive straight into it. Let's start with the basics. Liam, could you introduce Splinterlands to us? What is it all about?
Yeah, Splinterlands, it's a excuse me, it's a digital trading card game. So similar to what you would see with Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, it's kind of that physical trading card game brought into more of the digital space, similar to what you would see in a Hearthstone. But the really cool thing and what really differentiates Splinterlands from any other digital trading card game out there is that you own your assets. So every single card itself is a unique NFT. You get to control the price on those in terms of how you sell them, how you buy them, renting it, so on and so forth. We could created a complete free market economy in our game, which is super crazy to even think about. But then moreover than that, you can also delegate, you can rent your cards out. So we have players that are just like flat out renting their cards every day as a means of profit. It's really cool. There's a whole kind of economic simulator behind the game as well. But first and foremost, we're really trying to kind of sell the entertainment value of it, which is the trading card game on the front end.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. And now for the Splinterlands community, Linus, could you introduce ERTHA to the viewers who may want to know more about the project?
Yeah, well, ERTHA is a virtual world which allows users to own their own land and create, a unique experience on it. Project is still, under development, and we have already released like a working beta version where players could join and see the hex view that we are building, which we will later introduce uniquely to every landowner. So it is a social strategic MMO metaverse game, which is all about, your own place in it, where you'd want to live in with adventure, economics, politics, science, as driving forces of the game. And it's a game for the players, by the players who enjoy making plans, developing their own character and their environment, and turning that all into an enterprise which can eventually earn money. So, our goal with ERTHA is to create a metaverse where users could, interact with each other and build their own experiences inside our game.
All right, so you mentioned the ERTHA beta. Liam, could you talk about where Splinterlands is in the development process? Have you already launched the full game? Is it an alpha? Is it a beta? Where are you basically in your roadmap of developing the game?
Splinterlands is we're almost 4 years on the market now, which is crazy to think about. Numbers have been quite insane as of late. I think when I first came on, which was 8 months ago, we were at the like 250, 300K daily active user mark. We're almost 500,000 daily actives pretty consistently now. We're doing almost 12 billion or 12 million battles a day, just past the 2 billion battle milestone, I think about a month ago. But yeah, we've been around 4 years, about 2 million strong in the game, 500 daily actives. It's pretty crazy to see. I think we're doing over 2 million card rentals a day too, and then like 100,000 card sales a day.
Sounds awesome. So Linus, are you expecting ERTHA to, surpass Splinterlands one day? What's the plan on that?
Well, obviously, the plan is to grow as much as possible and have, an active community who could eventually support the economy of it. But yeah.
Yeah, speaking about communities, Liam, do you think Splinterlands has like a solid community that will support the game and like the game no matter what comes?
Absolutely, yeah. And similar to what Linus was just saying too, like community really is everything. It's a game for the players, by the players. Like as much as we can get decentralized, we're trying to move in that direction where we're going to be introducing a DAO soon. The players are going to help govern that. We're going to be really, again, introducing this huge free market economy and continue building on that, which is all player driven and player run there. So our game is nothing without the community. And really, the community is the backbone for absolutely everything that we do, whether it's like new game features that we roll out, tokenomic structures, so on and so forth there. So really cool to be able to work with this phenomenal community. And I'm sure you guys are probably experiencing a pretty similar thing your side too.
Yeah, here at ERTHA, we're for sure trying to build the strongest community we possibly can. We have strong alliances that are already creating their guilds, their websites, their tools for ERTHA, which is just awesome to see. Maybe Linus can also talk about that a little bit, about our community support and how they really help us with the project and so on.
Well, yeah, the community is the key for these types of games. We have to have it to eventually have enough experience inside a metaverse. So yeah, and all the players who actually create like custom tools and communities around themselves, like alliances, clans, and stuff like that, is really important for us. And we are glad that even before releasing a playable game, we are experiencing people connecting with each other. Making plans on how they will use their own assets, like their lands, their airports, inside the game, and how they will rule it. So it is amazing to see that, and I'm happy that all the crypto community is like a good platform for that, and I see that in many games.
Yeah, and so Liam, you're the director of growth for Splinterlands. So what does that exactly entail? Do you grow the community? Do you grow the business aspect of the project? Like, what is your role in the project?
Yeah, it's really a marketing role first and foremost. There's a bit of a wider net where there's some like economic pieces there. We have kind of community shelled under the team as well and everything else too. But because crypto is such a, I guess, vast ecosystem where it's marketing and kind of growth mechanisms, it's hard to be like, oh, hey, we're just going to run ads and just let that kind of run its course as our primary acquisition channel. There's so many other things that go into it that it's more of a fully encompassing umbrella term. But
For sure.
first and foremost, it's marketing. So really, we're looking at how can we grow acquisition? How can we make retention numbers kind of strengthen? How can we look at bringing elements to the community that are going to help our player base, one, get excited about the game and help kind of push the game further from both a how can they give feedback for the game and how can we grow it internally, but also how can we use our community members as champions for our game to bring in more community members as well. Really, we're kind of like the fun committee is how I kind of like to view it. It's how do we bring in more players, but how do we make the ecosystem, how do we make the entire landscape more enjoyable for the players and the community base already here too.
Yeah, exactly. And well, the game is still supposed to be fun of course. So there wouldn't be a community. There wouldn't be the marketing aspect of a project if there wasn't a fun game, right? So besides the fun game, you do have play to earn aspects in Splinterlands. So could you maybe talk a little bit about that? How exactly can players make revenue, make money from Splinterlands?
Yeah, there's a multitude of different ways. It's kind of cool. On the front end, the most simplest way of doing it is if you just play the game, you actually get dark energy crystals, which are one of our two cryptocurrencies, or I guess one of the three, including vouchers, that you earn. So every time you win a game, depending on what your energy capture rate is, which will go down by 1% every game, which is essentially like an earnings potential. So what your ECR is, you essentially get dark energy crystals for playing games. On the back end, we have things like airdrops. So right now there's two different airdrops going on. One is just kind of a cumulative number based on how many assets you have in the game. The other one is a kind of airdrop that will take up pretty much every single second for you, which is based on how much SPS you have staked in the game. And then moreover than that, there's people who are looking to like flip assets in the economy. There's people who are coming in with cards and just like renting out cards. There's so many different ways, and it's such a rich and diverse kind of ecosystem on the back end that people can use a multitude of different ways to start earning there.
That all sounds really interesting, and maybe Linus could provide a contrast to that about the play to earn systems of Eartha.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoy complex play turn systems, which are not like you have to spend X amount of hours, inside clicking a few buttons to actually earn that without any strategy. Earth is a strategic game where our goal is to make people learn while playing it, and while learning, they could also earn money by doing that, and that's our main goal in this. Market in crypto. So our players will be able to have their own businesses, to have their own companies where they employ other people, where they eventually create NFTs, which are then sold in the marketplace, and that's the way they can earn money. And the ones that can't afford to actually create a business will be able to go inside other person's business and earn a salary, which is also a way to earn items, money that later on could be sold, on real crypto market. So yeah, eventually the idea that we had before was to have a game that is interesting enough without even the play to earn part to spend your time on, and the fact that this market allows the ability to put that, so that people could be able to have their own items, to own them, and to be able to sell them is like a big and huge upgrade to the whole ERTHA ecosystem. So I'm really glad to be able to bring that to the community.
Yeah, and which of these features you mentioned do you think are unique in the play turn space and the GameFi space in general? Do you think Eartha sports some very unique things that other projects are not doing or not doing yet?
Probably the most unique thing that we are trying to build is the play to learn mechanism, which means that when you create your own character, you will be able to level up his skills, and by doing that you will have to solve some puzzles or answer test questions which are related to the skill that you are leveling up in the game. And to answer that, you will start learning stuff that is actually useful in the real world. And just by being a great gardener who can have enough fruits in the game to sell and to earn money, you will know a lot about trees, a lot about other plants that grow and what they do, if they're edible or not, and stuff like that, just from the game that you're playing. So like your time that you spent on the game would not be just for fun, but it would actually not even just give you an ability to earn, but also give you knowledge and experience which you can use in real world.
Yeah, and exactly the same question for Liam. what does Splinterland have that other projects aren't doing? Like, do you have some very unique things you want to mention and talk about that really can strike an interest in Splinterlands from the people and the gamers that are looking for a new project or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the economy is really the biggest thing that differentiates us from kind of the rest of the other games out there. I think from a blockchain gaming standpoint as a whole, why kind of Web3 over Web2 is really similar to what Linus was saying, is you don't, it's like guilt-free gaming is kind of the hashtag that we're spinning up now, where you make money, you actually can earn a profit by playing these games. And I think it's what's really cool is we've seen so many other kind of community members spin up third-party tools. I mean, Peak Monsters, Monster Market, Card Auction, like all these companies are running full businesses as like micro ecosystems within our game because they found a better way of like running a rental market or something that we have. And when they're operating now, like we don't take any revenue from them. We let them operate completely standalone as they will. But it's really cool to see that just the amount of community adoption. It's almost kind of, it reminds me of Fallout and just everyone making like different mods for Fallout and stuff like that too. But now it's like, hey, how can we get all this community adoption, but have it be like a revenue driver, have it be something that is valuable to the players. So at the end of the day, a year, 2 years, 3 years, when they're done playing, you're actually taking away from the game. There's something to learn as well, whether it be economics, whether it be, oh, hey, I just profited, whether it be I've made a whole bunch of friends and everything. It's something that's not just going to be tied to digital space that you can't take anything away from at the end of the day. But I think what's really cool with Splinterlands too is just the amount of like community adoption. As I said, that's going to be available. The DAO is going to be a huge thing for us. We're doing validator nodes pretty soon here. It's really just going to be community driven in like the next 2 years. We're going to be helping steer the ship and keep the project afloat. But other than that, like they're going to be helping to vote on what new features are going to come into the game and how we're going to actually start moving the game forward too, as opposed to just running like, hey, how are we going to spend the DAO funds and everything else too. So I'm pretty excited to see where we go from here.
Yeah, gotcha. And you mentioned a few years in advance, a few years ahead. So where do you think the whole project or the whole play-to-earn model is going to take you in like these next few years, in these next few crypto cycles? Do you think you're gonna, like you mentioned, go more towards the community-driven aspect of the project, or are you just, or do you have some ideas in your own mind of how the project should look?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Our co-founders are really the people who have taken this project and really created it. So as far as kind of what we've done previously, that's really been all their work. I think what's going to be in the future again is going to be a lot of collaboration between both the Splinterlands internal team as well as our community members in the game, which is going to be really cool. That being said, we're also doing a lot of things that are going to be pretty trailblazing for the space. The way that we're doing validator nodes and how it interacts with the DAO is going to be pretty sweet. But things like esports is going to be phenomenal as well. So, I mean, long story short, to answer your question, where I'd like the game to go is to almost like a complete point of decentralization where community is really driving the game forward. But what I'm really excited for in the future are things like esports, where we're actually bringing this legitimate professional league, and we're starting to talk to some of the bigger names in the space, like some of the brands that are sponsoring the like League of Legends or Rainbow Six or Counter Strike teams right now. Like they're reaching out to Splinterland saying, "Hey, how can we get involved?" And so the fact that we're seeing that kind of mainstream attention and almost adoption at this point is pretty awesome to see. So hopefully in 2 years, when we're 5 years down the road, whenever it is, where we're considered like Web3 is considered a mainstay channel in terms of gaming, in terms of gameplay, in terms of really just any economics out there.
That actually sounds awesome. I am personally a big fan of esports, and actually this brings me to do you think Splinterlands is a player's experience or a viewer's experience? Do you think it can make a good viewing experience if it were to be an esport?
Yeah, at current state, I don't think we're 100% built up for a viewing experience. We do a ton of streams and we do a ton of tournaments right now. Those have all got really good reception. I think we did one with community gaming month or two ago. That was led by Weirdbeard, who's our kind of community or esports manager, as well as Bulldog, who's our community manager. But over the weekend, we did a Saturday and Sunday stream that got 60,000 views cumulative over those 2 day spans. So we're already seeing people start to flock in for a lot of that viewership, but I think there's more elements that we need to build into the game currently, more features that we need to build in for a better kind of viewing interaction at this point. So I'd say we're kind of like 70% of the way there. We need to do some more builds on it. We need to get the kind of like physical esports funnel and everything built up too. But I mean, year down the road, we're going to be in these big arenas playing Splinterlands tournaments in person and getting some pretty mainstream coverage. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. It would be nice seeing the big teams like Cloud9, Astralis, those teams, really making their dive into the GameFi world in general. There are other crypto games that can surely fit the esports scene, and it would be very interesting to see these big teams, big brands, really try to dip their toes in this space. So I think the next few years are surely going to bring us. And actually for Ertha, Linus, do you imagine any sort of system, any sort of way that could really make Ertha a viewer's experience where Twitch streamers or basically Twitch streamers and YouTubers could make interesting content regarding Ertha?
Well, at first when I was thinking about the idea on how Ertha should work and what the world are we building there, it was a player's view game where you actually experience all the interactions with other players in a very in the way that you would do in real world, so it's not like championships that you can start at any time and finish at a time that is planned. It will be quite organic, and if one country decides to have a war with another country, it's not like you can have an event that you stream at a certain date to do that, but you could obviously have a fast view of what is going on in Ertha. And probably the what I like about the fact that we were able to get a lot of a lot of hype from the community, which allowed us to get investments into the game. It allowed us to take our idea and bring it to a real metaverse where we have 3D world with characters with all the globe in there, So I think that eventually in 5 years span, we will have experiences which will be quite good to view in a Twitch stream, where players are, playing with the environments or training for going to a war against another country, or even, learning stuff in real time, So.
Yeah, I'm sure people will start streaming Ertha as soon as the university studies come out. People are going to try to teach other players in their streams. I think I'm personally going to be doing that. I'm going to be learning all the studies I can with my character, and I'm going to be trying to teach them, those who want to, watch the live streams. That would be a good idea. And as well, when we have the multiplayer support, I'm sure once people are able to see each other inside their hexes, there could be all sorts of events and things like that are happening inside the metaverse, the Ertha metaverse, which are going to be streamed, and I'm sure it's still going to be definitely going to be an interesting viewer experience. Because what if your character is stuck in Croatia when there's an event in Brazil? Right, you can't go there in an hour or whatever. So maybe you tune into a stream. Maybe an alliance starts streaming whatever they are planned, or similar things like that. So I'm sure there are going to be plenty of opportunities for Earthians to basically showcase what they have and show their skills and teach people what they know and how to play the game, which is going to be very important considering you want to make money from Eartha first and foremost. So yeah. So and that actually brings me to the blockchain aspect of these games. So Liam, I've noticed Splinterlands is built on the Hive blockchain. Could you maybe talk about that? Why have you chosen this blockchain in particular?
Yeah, so we were initially on Steam, which then forked into Hive and everything. So we've been fully kind of built up here. The primary reason, one, it was super fast blockchain. There weren't a lot of other projects on, so we could eat up a whole bunch of the essentially overall transactions on the blockchain and not be super scared for high gas fees. There's practically no gas fees on the chain, super fast, super reliable. I've had a lot of great experiences with Hive so far. The I think biggest conversation when looking at new projects getting onto blockchain is really, are you looking at like a bottom up or top down approach, in the sense that, hey, do you want to go with a Solana, do you want to go with a Polygon or like a ETH or something like that, and then pretty much try and cannibalize as many people on the chain as possible that are already there for other projects or other tokens, and then try and bring it back? Or do you go with the super small blockchain like Hive at the time, and kind of start building on that, and then hopefully in time bring more and more projects to help kind of validate it a bit more. So I think in my view, it's the more projects we can get into the space, the better. It doesn't just have to be on the Hive blockchain, but the overall amount of projects we can bring into the ecosystem is going to help really protect the Web3 blockchain gaming space, really help kind of add some validity to the entire ecosystem too, in terms of how kind of outsiders are really looking in on it. But yeah, Hive's been great. Our tokens themselves are on Binance Smart Chain too. But really it's fast processing and low fees is what has kind of been king for us.
Is it sustainable? Like, if you grow, if you keep growing, will you somehow, run out of bandwidth or whatever the term is? Basically, is it sustainable for your growth?
Yeah, it's been super sustainable for our growth. I think the biggest thing's actually been the number of battle plays and the amount of data points we've been collecting. Last July, September, we kind of started seeing a whole bunch of unprecedented growth, and that really took off in the kind of October to December timeframe last year. But we've actually migrated over to like 27 different servers on our back end here, just to upkeep all of the different plays. And with our newest rank reward change that's coming out hopefully in the next kind of 2-3 weeks here, when that happens, I'm expecting battles to double, so it'll be a nice pressure test for our dev team again to see how that all goes. But the chain itself has been super awesome. No kind of worries there. And then from the ethical and kind of environmental side of things, like even with our validator nodes, we're moving more towards a delegated proof of stake, so nothing will be proof of work on the chain itself, which is nice.
Gotcha. And well, you mentioned the Binance Smart Chain, and well, Eartha is built on the Binance Smart Chain network, both the NFTs and the tokens. So, Linus, could you talk about why this was chosen? What are the advantages in your eyes to choose BSC?
Yeah, well, BSC is really wide known and has a lot of usage, but it still has low gas fees, and it's quite fast by using it. I eventually think that the blockchain itself is like in its early stages at the moment, and there are a lot of things that are not yet right here, and we are all of these games that are appearing right now, and like creating something that is not that is not a scam, but is a real project that eventually gets high communities which use the bandwidth of the blockchain. I think the play to earn and gaming experience are the main factors which allows blockchains to grow and test their limits. So we've done quite a lot of research on what we should use here. And I think that there are 2 points to look at it. One point is to keep everything like totally on chain, and to have a transaction for everything, and to have like wait times for stuff. and there's another point where you have the main things on chain, and the other things, could be potentially calculated by the backend servers, and it does bring some good use cases for games when you don't have like high load times or waiting for transactions to happen, or like failed transactions, or like high gas fees that could eventually happen. So, I think gaming will find its own way on how to make a good blockchain experience here. And I think that Binance Smart Chain is a good choice for that, since it's quite scalable.
Yeah, I think the one thing we can all agree on is that gas fees suck. And I'm sure the community that tried to mint the other side Metaverse's Ethereum NFTs once it's launched can definitely confirm that gas fees do suck. Slow transactions suck. So basically, the first thing that GameFi projects are looking for when choosing a blockchain is low fees and fast transactions. And yeah, both BSC and Hive, from what I can tell, have both of these qualities. So, and well, actually, do you plan on ever bringing multi-chain support to ERTHA, or maybe switching the blockchain? What do you think? Like, is this something in the cards, or are you sure that BSC is just fine for ERTHA and we can stay on it indefinitely, basically?
From experience that we have right now, I think BSC is good for us, but we do have in plans and an ability to have multi-chain systems inside our metaverse. But it's not a priority at the moment, and when the time comes, I think we will do the right call.
Yeah, it also has some advantages and some disadvantages going multi-chain. Basically, it's not really 100% good thing to have, so to say. So, and for Liam, for Splinterlands, so are you planning on introducing any other blockchains, or how's it going there?
Yeah, we're kind of in the same boat too. We have a few blockchains that are bridged right now. So we have like ETH, Tron, Wax is there, and a couple others too. But really, it comes down to like how fast do you want to expand, and when, like, do you have enough resources for it? So I think if we were to say, hey, we're going to go after like 10 different blockchains and build all these bridges and do everything else right now, we would also hinder our growth in terms of kind of what are the features that we need to build and everything to propel ourselves forward. So long term, yes, I 100% think we're going to be looking at multiple different chains, but short term, I think Hive is kind of going to be our mainstay until we're really at a place where we've got to the game where it needs to be, and we've hired more and more dev team to kind of help with those separate other side of things.
Gotcha. All right, so let's talk about metaverses. As you all know, metaverses have taken the world by storm since last year. And so, Liam, is this something Splinterlands are looking to explore, or are exploring the idea of, or are you just completely staying away from it?
Yeah, I don't. We're definitely looking into it. I don't think we're gonna necessarily build our own kind of metaverse where you can have your own avatar and run around in this kind of digital world anytime soon. We've been looking at partners to kind of host tournaments within their own metaverses and do a whole bunch of stuff there. So I think short term, it's going to be how can we leash off other people's metaverses and host kind of Splinterlands events and really use it as a big partnership play for us.
Gotcha. And Linus, could you talk about why ERTHA is a metaverse?
Well, it is a metaverse because the idea of it already was a metaverse. It just happened so that the world had this hype on metaverse, and the idea that was created like 9 years ago is essentially very good for the stuff that is happening at the moment. And yeah, it's all about ERTHA is all about the character and his skills and his ability to do stuff and the environment that is about it. So by the definition, it is a metaverse. So yeah.
All right, and so this is a great segue to talk about development in general. So, Liam, what are your thoughts about game development in the GameFi industry? Are you always trying to adapt to the fast-paced environment, or are you just really doing your own thing without too much concern about what's happening in the industry or what the next hype is?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Splinterlands has been really fundamental, I guess, in the sense that we've trailblazed a lot of kind of different ideas in the blockchain gaming space, and that's all kind of credit to our co-founders, our dev team, and our data team, and everything for really helping bring that to life. But I definitely think there's some element of, hey, we have to make sure we're playing to hype if everyone wants XYZ, and that's going to be the next huge movement. We do need to obviously play into it a little bit and pay some attention to it. But that being said, we have our roadmap set where we're kind of really just operating in our own little way here, and really hope that the community is on board with what we're doing.
Yeah, and Linus, what are your thoughts regarding Eartha about this?
Yeah, well, we are looking at the market, where it's going, what's happening, but the whole idea that we have that we had quite a long time ago is the main thing that we are focusing on building at the moment. So I really think it's not going to go away so fast. So even if there's another craze out there, Eartha will find its place in it.
Gotcha. All right. And well, Liam actually mentioned a roadmap. And Linus, could you maybe tease a bit what we have in store relatively soon regarding this?
Well, yeah. So relatively soon we are presenting the Eartha Early Beta 0.2 edition, which will have the characters and their abilities and the whole avatar creation process and an ability to see it inside the game. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm sure that we will have that we will be able to show it quite soon to our players.
All right, wonderful. So let's just finish with the elephant in the room. So as I'm sure all of our viewers have noticed, the cryptocurrency market is not having its best days, to say the least, currently. So Liam, we're wondering, how is this affecting Splinterlands? Have you felt a pullback from the community? Has the engagement decreased, or what's going on there? Basically, is your project directly correlated to the cryptocurrency market?
Yeah, I think within the bear market, acquisition numbers have definitely seen a bit of a hit. There's lesser amounts of people who are wanting to jump into the Web3 space at current time. So there's definitely a little bit of a hit there. But otherwise, in terms of how the gameplay has changed, in terms of how the market within the game itself, our NFT market or anything has changed, we haven't seen any big changes there, any big hits there. So within the game, within the community that we've already established, we're still kind of business as usual. Nothing's really seen any huge impact there, but obviously with new acquisition numbers, there's been a little bit of a hit.
All right, and the same question for Linus. Do you think this changes everything for Eartha, or are we sticking to our general plan as we've always been?
Oh no, it's our general plan that is in motion, and it's not, the crypto waves that are going, the ups and downs are not actually, well, moving it that much. We have our own roadmap, we have our plan, and it's being built, and I'm really happy we have really experienced dev team that is working on it, and we have enough funds to keep building it for several years. So I think it's okay for us to see whatever the market throws at us.
So basically, game development always comes first. The most important product is the game. Is it the same for you, Liam, for Splinterlands?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you build a game, and I think community has to be tossed in there too. You have to build a compelling game, and then you need to have a phenomenal community to help push it back there. But as long as you're putting development first and you're making sure the community is kind of helping lead the charge there with what the game updates are doing, and we're listening to them as we build, then I think that's really kind of the forefront of any Web3 game.
Yeah, and is your team trying to speculate the cryptocurrency market? Are you trying to adjust your plans, or are you just going straight through it without any concern about what Bitcoin's doing, but what Ethereum is doing, whatever's doing?
No, I think the way that we built the game is we can operate without having to necessarily keep that pulse check and change a roadmap or anything based on prices. So we're super fortunate in that sense, but it's still just kind of business as usual. Nothing's changed.
Gotcha. Do you think we're in an actual bear market at this point, or do you still have hope that this is just a small, so to say, pullback until we go back up?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been in a bear market for a couple of months now. I don't think that this is kind of the one big push to get us into the bear market. I think we've been there, and then obviously with a lot of the global events and whatnot, it's been a couple of different days here or there that have been taking kind of bigger hits than others. But hoping that we can rebound hopefully by end of year here. So we'll see. If I'm not going to be able to dictate the market, but fingers crossed for sure.
Yeah, and Linus, what do you think about this?
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward for the market to be good at the end of year, because that's the time we are preparing our main launch event. But we're still not moved, by the market. We develop the game as we want to see it, and we still, listen to our community on what they want to see and how our idea could eventually become into reality with all this support that we can get. Is the fact that the market doesn't do much difference here.
All right, Linus, Liam, thank you so much for your insights. I think it's a good ending note to our discussion here. So let's basically just go straight into our AMA, which are going to be live questions from the Twitch chat. And a reminder to everyone that at the end of the stream, we will be giving away an Eartha Water NFT hex and 10 Chaos Legion packs from Splinterlands, which are going to be shared between 2 players. So that's going to be 5 packs each. So the next AMA format is going to be quite simple. We are going to go into a 5-minute intermission where all of you in the chat will have a chance to post questions. We'll select at least 5 or see how much time we have to answer, maybe even more. And Linus and Liam will answer them. So, all right, guys, you can start posting your questions right now in the chat and stay tuned. We will be right back. All right, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the event. Thank you for posting your questions during the break. We have gathered a few to answer, and yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So, a question for Liam: how do you plan to attract more players to Splinterlands?
Yeah, there's so many different things that we're doing. I think one core gameplay needs to be exciting. We need to be continuously updating our game to, one, get the community, again, championing our game. Community marketing is really our kind of bread and butter. It's our biggest asset is our community right now. So everything really needs to be done for them. Outside of that, though, esports, we've just kicked off a whole bunch of ads. We're kicking off a ton of affiliate and content creator marketing too. So you'll see us across some of the bigger names on like YouTube, on Twitch, and so on and so forth there. Otherwise, ton of in-person events. We're trying to create kind of big Splinterlands hubs in every major city to get kind of monthly events going and everything there. There's a list I can go on and on about. We're doing some more physical stuff too, trying to create like a tabletop game for Splinterlands and getting more kind of toy stores to get more towards the general non-Web3 audiences. But yeah, there's the list a mile long right now of things that we're doing.
Sounds awesome. And Linus, is it more or less the same for Eartha, or do we have some special things in mind?
Well, I think it's more or less similar because the building the game is the main part to actually attract people. One of the things that we are focusing on is to give our landowners enough benefit to actually own the land, so that it would make sense, and they would help us advertise the game by bringing more audience in it, which also includes a referral system that we are working on that should potentially help us do that. And yeah, we're doing quite a lot. We're testing out our Facebook ads, how they would work. We're testing, we're having quite a lot of partnerships with different, with different either crypto or real world companies that would be out there, which is to get our name across different platforms, and obviously to, we will come into some of the live events that will be happening soon. And if we will have, any information on that, I think we will share quite soon, on which we will be attending also. So it's quite similar.
Yeah, sounds awesome. And that brings me straight to the second question. So, when is ERTHA, or rather not when, but how will VR support look in ERTHA?
Yeah, so VR support is something that I believe is the fun part of the metaverse, where you can actually become a person that is walking around it and experiencing all the world that we are creating with its own character. And while we are creating the hexes, the cities, and the character, we are looking into ways to port the game to different platforms, which would not be only web-based as it is right now, but we also are planning to develop like clients that could potentially help us port it out to VR experiences. And well, I cannot yet, disclose any dates for that. It's still in the future, but we are working on that, and I think it's a cool experience to see the metaverse world from your avatar's eyes.
And for Liam, is Splinterlands exploring the idea of VR? Is this something you could imagine Splinterlands supporting?
Would love to see how we can make it work. Currently for the game, not so much. We do have events like Digicon, which is more a metaverse event that we host with a couple different other companies, but that's completely metaverse driven. So I'm sure that VR could be incorporated somewhere there, or like in our town halls or something every week.
I would imagine seeing the battle in VR would also be pretty cool, right? So maybe that's something.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think once we do a lot of the partnerships with other metaverses and host tournaments there, I think there's a big opportunity as well.
All right, so let's just go straight to the third question for Linus. So you mentioned the ERTHA Beta version 0.2 update, which is coming really, really soon, and we're going to tease more information a bit later. So what is coming after that update? What can our Earthians expect right after it, or in the next update cycle, basically?
Yeah, so we are trying to make enough updates for the players to be able to have full experience inside our metaverse. So what we want to bring next is our study module, the play to learn part, which would allow the created characters that will be launched quite soon to be able to train their skills, which will later on be used for different actions inside the game. So the university part is what we are looking into for the sooner update.
Awesome. And what do Splinterlands have in their back pocket that they're planning to maybe tease or release soon?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about a few of them. I think we're completely transparent as far as roadmap goes, but the next kind of big things coming up are going to be a rank rewards change, which is going to be a huge scaler to the amount of crypto that you can earn per game, and just like your overall earnings per day, which is going to be awesome to see for the player base. Otherwise, the validator nodes, DAO, land expansion, and then also a new card pack release is going to be coming probably by the end of the year this year.
Wonderful. All right, so just before this fourth question, I want to inform our viewers that we can start entering our giveaway that we're having today, which is going to be an Eartha Water NFT hex worth $150 and 10 Chaos Packs from Splinterlands, which we're going to split equally across two winners. So all you have to do to enter the giveaway is start typing !NFT in the chat. That's all you have to do. You'll get a message from our bot that you've entered the giveaway. And once we finish up these questions, and once our guest finishes answering them, we're going to draw the 3 winners and see who are the lucky winners of today. So let's just jump into the 4th question. Let's start with Liam. So what do you think is... Oh, sorry. Linus disconnected for a little bit. Let's just wait for Linus to fix his cam. And Liam, a question for you. Do you think GameFi, Web3, or the Metaverse are going to be the most popular in the near future? Basically, what project is the most hyped currently? Well, not what project. What definition of a project is hyped?
Yeah, I think the GameFi vertical it makes so much sense. Obviously, I'm a little biased being in blockchain gaming too. But the utility is really the thing that I look at when we're evaluating projects and looking at everything else. I mean, initially you look at a lot of like the collectible art NFTs and everything, and they're starting to expand now, which is awesome. But there's a few of those projects that you're like, okay, this may just be a lot of popularity value in the start here, but if they don't add utility, where does the project go? How does it keep earning value? Are there deflationary systems built into it and all that other stuff? Where GameFi, I think, one, just gaming is such a good fit with NFTs. But two, you're able to, I mean, using Splinterlands as an example, build in these like burn mechanisms. So 80% of all of our validator node funds, which is going to essentially be a third of our overall fully diluted like token cap in time once they all sell out, like 80% of that's going to get burned. And then the other 20% is going directly to the DAO. So it's not even like a profit mechanism for us, but we're able to incorporate these very complex kind of economic systems on the back end of a game, which I don't think any other systems really allow themselves to do. I mean, GameFi and Metaverse, I think, also kind of play hand in hand, where we can almost do both at the same time. And I think Eartha's a great example of that, but I'll toss it over to Linus too.
Yeah, exactly. Can Linus provide his input on this?
I was disconnected for a moment. Can
Oh,
you,
yeah, for sure. I will repeat the question. So, do you think GameFi, Web3, or the Metaverse are going to be the most popular project concepts in the near future?
Well, yeah, I think, GameFi is not going anywhere, and Metaverse is just going to grow exponentially, I think, in the upcoming 2 to 5 years. So I think both of those, all 3 of those actually represent the ecosystem that all the crypto people are working towards too. So in my opinion, probably the Metaverse part is going to grow a bit faster than others, because it does get a lot of funds inflowing into its development. So
especially with all these massive companies, right, jumping into the into the train. So, yeah. All right, so we already have more than 35 entries into the giveaway. Just a reminder to type !NFT in the chat for a chance to win an Eartha Water NFT hex and become a landowner in Eartha for free, or rather a water owner. And of course, the Chaos Packs from Splinterlands that we're going to be giving away. So, all right, 5th question. So, Liam, how often do you release, how often does Splinterlands get an update or new content for the game?
It's weekly. I mean, almost like every other day at this point. So we do 2 big feature releases every single week at this point. All of those are very transparent. They're posted on our Discord, and also we have a kind of roadmap page as to what all the past updates are too. So if anyone's ever interested in what we're doing, we have a Discord channel, just discord.gg/Splinterlands. They're good to go. But yeah, no, we're doing kind of twice a week at this point. I feel like you have to always constantly be building at this point. Thinking about Web3 versus Web2. I've been in SaaS companies, software as a service, my entire life, and what you do in a month in Web3 feels like it's like 4 or 5 months kind of thing in Web2. So it's been super exciting, but very fast paced for sure.
All right, and Linus, could you remind Earthians and maybe tell the Splinterlands community about what we do here at Eartha? What does our update cycle look for Eartha?
Yeah, so since we are rebuilding our whole database structure and the whole game into a Unity game engine, we are building the big parts of it, and we are trying to have an update with each sprint cycle of our development, which means that every bi-weekly we are preparing a new update that we release. I'm sure that as soon as we get through to actual live version, we will be able to expedite this process and have it a bit faster, But since we want to do everything very well done correctly, it's good for us to take some time to release things that are actually, working correct, because these are the building blocks of the whole ERTHA metaverse.
All right, wonderful. So before we jump into the very last question for Liam, last call to type ! NFT into the chat, and we'll pull the winners right after this question. So Liam, what is your number one tip for someone who wants to succeed in Splinterlands?
Oh man, for new players, I think it's a great question. I think the best and easiest way is using the rental market. So we've developed our own like NFT market in the game itself. You don't need to use a third-party system or any other blockchains to be able to buy and sell within our game, which I think is really cool. But you can rent for like literally cents a day, not even full dollar kind of thing. And then from that, you can actually start earning back multiple dollars. So it's really cool. It's a great way to get into the game. It's a great way to learn it without having to go and empty your entire bank account kind of thing. We don't want there to be some gating system where it's like, hey, if you want to come play Splinterlands, you have to pay $500 to get in kind of thing. It's no, you can buy your spellbook, which is $10. That unlocks all of your earning potentials. And then from there, you can rent for literally pennies a day, which is really cool.
All right, and for Linus, what do you think is your number one tip for players and landowners in Eartha?
Well, since we're in a really early stage, I think the main thing is to actually read our updates that we're bringing, our white paper, and essentially follow the development road, since we are building stuff in a way so that everything you will do inside our beta will eventually be useful for you in the real version. So if you follow us, if you stay with us through this development cycle until we have our final first version release, you will be quite you will have enough information to build your own strategy on how to start the game better than any new player who will come and just finish a tutorial, but potentially do some mistakes at the start of the game. So I think that if players will stay with us for quite some time, they will have enough information to be great, businessmen, great scientists in Earth.
All right, wonderful. Well, that concludes our live AMA. So thank you so much, guys, for the questions in chat. And of course, thank you to Liam and Linus for the answers and participation. So now all there's left to do is to find out the winners of today's event. So 10 Splinterlands Chaos Legion packs are up for grabs, and one $150 Eartha Water NFT. So without further ado, let's roll the first winner, who will receive 5 Chaos Legion packs. And their name is, and I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce this, of course, is Dona Jupira. So 5 NFT packs go to them. And for our second winner, it's Van Dota. 5 more NFT Chaos Legion NFT packs go to them. And now for the main winner, who is going to win the $150 Eartha NFT Water Hex, is going to be LCO Fear. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but there we go. Those are your winners. They'll be announced in the chat. There you go, there you go, and there you go. Make sure to have your Twitch PMs on. We will contact you in your private messages, so make sure to have them enabled. And we'll just contact you within the next few days. So congratulations to our winners. I hope you put these prizes to good use. Yeah, thank you everyone for participating. Let's wrap up the event. So, Linus, could you say a few words about what Earthians should take away from this event? Just the last thoughts.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet Liam and to hear about what happens in Splinterland. I'm sure that's, we can all take some experience that they already have here and to, make new connections here that will potentially be cool in the future here.
All right, wonderful. And Liam, your last thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Great meeting both of you, and thanks for everyone on the Twitch chat who tuned in here. Also, congrats to the winners. But otherwise, it's really just like this is the start of Web3, guys. I know everyone pumps and shills things all the time, but like this is the start of Web3. You're not late. You're still super early. There's a lot of exciting times ahead, and just really excited to see what games like Eartha and Splinterlands can get going here.
Wonderful. And could you share your socials for Splinterlands?
Absolutely. It's just /Splinterlands on everything. Discord, Twitter, socials, like Facebook, so on and so forth there. Everything's just @Splinterlands.
Wonderful. And well, the best place to follow Eartha is on Twitter and Discord as well. So twitter.com/ErthaGame, and our community at Discord is at discord.gg/Eartha. So, all right, once again, a big thank you to Liam for coming on to the show today. It's been wonderful to have you here, and I'm sure both of you, both of our communities have enjoyed the event and the insights from you and Linus. So, yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time as soon as this week with the Eartha Development Update livestream. And yep, this is the Eartha Metaverse, signing out.